Valentine's Day is around. So, for my girlfriend, I wanted to try to mill a rose out of wood. The blossom of the rose I will make out of red heart, and the leaves and the rest I will make out of yellow poplar. Even if it's called yellow poplar, the sapwood is pretty green, so I think this is a good choice for these. And all these parts will be held by a back piece of alder. I started out with a pretty simple sketch of a rose and put that into Fusion. There I modeled the rose with the sculpturing tools. The sculpturing tools of Fusion I used only for the second time now. The first time I used it for the map of Middle-earth I made a while ago, and it always takes me a little while to get into it as I don't use it that often, but it's definitely worth it. You can make pretty funky stuff with these tools. This piece of red heart I have left over from the wooden coat of arms I made is perfect for the rose. Well, actually it was a tiny little bit too thin, as the deepest point of the blossom goes through this piece of red heart. I really like the structured surface this ball-nose end mill makes with a step over of about 1 mm. And as it's already pretty smooth with this router bit, I don't sand it afterwards. I've just done one pass with the ball nose end mill and then cut it out with a normal bit. So the blossom of the rose is finished, but there is a little hole in there because the raw material was a little bit too thin. But I think I already have a solution for that. And now we get to the leaves of the rose, and I want to make these out of this piece, but I first have to plane it. Not sure if you can see that, but it's pretty green. Basically, it's all the steps again as before with the blossom, but unfortunately this time the raw material was a tiny little bit thicker than I expected, so the CNC didn't cut all the way through. But it was so little that it wasn't a problem. And the last piece to make is the back plate with the pockets to glue the parts in. These pockets I made 0.1 mm wider than the parts, so they will hopefully fit in there.
Perfect.
I already fixed the hole in the rose that was over there by gluing a chip to the back, very thin, and sanding it flush. Great. That is really awesome. The back piece of alder is now still too big and needs to be cut to size. When the exact dimensions doesn't matter for the making process, I always try to find them as late as possible with the real object in my hands. I think it's much easier to find the right proportions this way than in the beginning with the CAD model. To cut square pieces that are too big for my chop saw but still fairly small, I like to use this table from Festool. It works very well and makes pretty precise rectangular cuts. The only downside of it is that it always takes a while to set it up. And I stuck all the parts in and rethought about the dimensions, because I wanted to have more rows and less backplate. So I cut it again. To chamfer the edges of the backplate, I set up the table for the router. Having this table on casters is really nice, as I can set it up wherever and however I need it in my small shop. So, there are just the usual steps left: sanding, more sanding, gluing, and painting. I'm using special oil, so the colors hopefully won't change because of the sunlight. So, the Valentine's Day present is finished. I hope my girlfriend will like it and you maybe too. I think that's a very good project for a small present, and I am sure you can do that if you're already into CNC and CAD work in about 2 to 3 hours. Thanks for watching and good luck with your Valentine.